All right, now we're into coffee break.
It's just coffee break.
I need to have a break from coffee with a coffee break.
Two sugars.
No, two sugars.
Well, yeah, we're killing the hot take sound as well.
Oh yeah,
Finally
absolutely.
time for some hardcore.
We're remixing it. We're remixing it. And I thought we might put it to a poll, but, who knows? Tim Varney's enough.
Mate, I have to say that episode was a perfect extraction.
Perfect extraction?
That was a perfect extraction.
Why? Why was it a perfect extraction?
Because Tim Varney is a coffee superstar. Any coffee nerd out there would just be geeking out about getting to listen to him go on. The episode was a long one and a bloody good one. Such a wealth of information from that bloke, and I can't wait to get him on again. I especially loved, you could tell at the hot takes towards the end when you were getting in about co-ferments and about this, that there would be no person that has more hot takes or opinions about coffee and how it's served than that bloke, I reckon.
I reckon he's got a whole lot more left in the gas tank. Where that came from. That was one barrel. He's got plenty more to come.
Yeah.
So
now, you noticed on the pod I was a bit unfair to you and just threw you under the bus with an Alaskan duck fart. You had to have one live on the show. How was it?
not as bad as I thought it would be. But Bailey's, goes down quite well.
Bailey's is an underrated drink. We were talking about this the other day with a cocktail maker where it's like it kind of got a bad rap as like a little baby's drink, but I feel like everyone's coming around now where you're like, Bailey's on ice. Hard to go past. It's delicious. So to make up for it, we've got our producer Liam. Have you got to hold it up to the camera? You got a little duck fart sitting in front of you.
I'm ready.
It is now midday, lunchtime, and this is our lunch. I've poured myself one. I've poured you one. The three of us are going to test out the Alaskan duck fart and see if it's any good.
Go.
I mean, it goes down pretty easy.
Like genuinely kind of delicious.
Yeah. That is, that's not bad. How are you feeling after two of them? And for someone who doesn't drink, is that warm in the blood system?
Ask me in 2 minutes.
Give him 2 minutes and it'll just be raving on the pod going off.
I love Bailey's. My goodness. Aldi does like specific, I feel like every couple months we go in and there's like different blends of their take on Bailey's. And coming into like the Christmas season, there's like all different types. There's like peppermint, there's butterscotch, there's strawberry. They're wicked.
Because I remember there's a place in the States called Phil's Coffee. It's like big chain. I think it's big in like California or whatever. But they had one that always threw me off that people loved, which is like a mint mocha espresso kind of thing with like mint syrup and chocolate. And people loved it.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
The mint choc top when I go to the movies is my favorite.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Dude, really?
That's my all-time like
I get
routine.
I get a lot of hate for it too.
Oh,
for real?
I've just apologized on the last pod for bullying you and being mean to you. But I got to say, the mint choc ice cream is such a whittle baby ice cream. It's such a whittle baby ice cream. That's what I used to get when I was a 5-year-old. And then your tastes evolve. And if anyone out there is not ordering the boysenberry choc top when they're at the cinema, you're crazy.
This coming from a guy who brought Alaskan duck fart to the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It opens with, I really want to drink this beautiful thing, the Alaskan duck fart.
Tell me more, Rohan. Tell me more.
My palate really goes towards, poo-poo, caca from birds, all different types, anything.
I need my whittle baby mint. I want to brush my teeth when I have ice cream.
It's so good.
We've got Molly, who works as a copywriter here for us. What are you getting as a choc top when you're at the cinema? Do you do a choc top?
She raised her hands for boysenberry.
Oh, she's on boysenberry as well. I always knew I liked you. Sophisticated palate. Yeah, amazing.
You literally pay her, so it doesn't count. I was going to say you would also probably go towards the red snakes then. Because you love medicine and disgusting flavors, the raspberry gross.
They're
snakes.
the best ones.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to.
Wait, what do you have? You know what I hate in lollies? Lemon and orange.
Oh yeah, no.
They're the flavors that the whole packet is left. It's just lemons and oranges in there for me. Can't do it.
In the lime all day.
Yo, lime's great. Lime is probably the elite of all the citrus and one of my favorite ones, especially coming up, like eating lots of Mexican food and that kind of stuff. The margarita, having it just a little bit squirted on some tacos.
I realized someone told me the other day that you would think that like blue would be the worst flavor for you. Lime is actually so much worse. It's similar to how Sprite has like an insane amount of sugar in it.
Oh, to like balance out the sugar.
Yeah, lime.
But wait, do you mean in like confectionery?
Yeah. To make the fake flavor
I was like, don't tell me lime is
No.
bad for me. I'd be devastated.
Don't worry. No, lime's safe. Real lime is safe, but fake lime is out to kill you.
Now this is interesting. We've got Kirk's 2 duck farts deep. I've just had the one, a little bit of the grata out over there. But we're recording a quad pod today. It's a quad pod kind of day.
Quad pod kind of day.
We're doing 2 main eps, 2 coffee breaks. No, 3.
3.
It's
Quinn.
The Quinn pod. I mean,
Quinn
that doesn't
pod.
have the ring to it. I don't know about that. We'll just stick with quad pod. But there is 5. Anyway, I digress. Varney. Any other notes on the pod that I can now say that he's gone? Grata. Very good.
It's interesting because I'd never actually met him until a few weeks ago, but heard so much about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were like long-time chums.
And then he came into the shop the other day, and I always kind of viewed him as he would be some sort of coffee conservative. Like perhaps he views like a lot of what I do at the shop, which is, modernizing sort of old things that we do. So doing it in a new way, and then especially with the co-ferment stuff, I thought he'd be very skeptical, but he's actually quite open-minded about it all.
Yeah, and he kind of came in, obviously, with his opinion before he had your coffees was like, screw co-ferments kind of thing. You could tell that that's his background. He's a purist, and that makes sense. He had, I thought it was an interesting point that he brought up, that it's like, does that stop the, development of regular coffee and that kind of thing? But he was like, I went in there, you did some different things and it tasted bloody great. What can I complain about? And that's the type of mindset that you need in this industry, not to just be stubborn without cause.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like everyone feels like you have to have one position or the other in it. There's only like 2 positions you can take, and it's not meeting somewhere in the middle. It's not, okay, well, this plays a role here. And if you think that Finger Deborah isn't as good as a strawberry co-ferment, then, that's just fucking silly.
The funny thing that was brought up when you guys were talking about it, you were like, I think traditionally everyone's going to pick like, the geisha or like whatever it is over the co-ferment, like in that fake flavor and doing that. I'm like, wait, who's everyone? If you talk about like coffee nerds, yes. But if you're talking about the general public, mate, if you give anyone a coffee that tastes distinctly of a certain fruit or a certain element, they're always so blown away. They're like, oh my God, it really does taste like orange. Oh my God, it really does taste like watermelon. You're like, yeah, because it was fermented in watermelon.
But this is the thing. Like sometimes it can be done in a way that's too intense. So we actually blend the coffees down.
Yep.
So it's good that they come so intense, because then we can blend it and we can sort of, because these co-ferments, they're not cheap. At least the ones I get anyway. They're not actually cheap coffees.
Yeah.
And so we blend it down because, one, it's so intense. And if I served you just 100% single origin strawberry ferment as a milky, you'd hate it.
Yeah.
So we blend it so it actually comes to balance. And that also makes it more cost effective, so a customer can get it for a modest price of $6.50.
Do you serve it up black? Do many people have it like espresso or long black, strong black as you would call it?
Well, we make blends for filter and mostly as cold brew.
Yep.
So because cold brew for the most part sucks, I've always found.
Yeah,
I don't really have much cold brew that I really like. But then you make it with a co-ferment and it's kind of like the flavors survive the cold brewing, and it's actually quite good and refreshing.
Yeah, the best, I mean, it's almost like we're doing it at a later stage. The best cold brews are the ones where people infuse it with like a little bit of orange peel or like whatever in there to give it that like lift or a little bit of lightness. Like otherwise it's like real flabby, low acidity, bland kind of stuff.
Sorry, I was just going to jump in. Like Tim kind of went down that. Tim made that parallel between like kind of the natty wine industry and how like, they've come kind of full circle. There's been a bit more time in development of them, and it's similar to the co-ferment world. There's like this lack of like subtlety at the moment. And you brought up a really good point, Ro, saying like,
Thank you.
Are you able to, does that mean like, does it encourage people to use like the bad, poor, kind of the trash part of the crop of coffee and just like co-ferment it? Whereas you're saying, no, it's actually really high grade quality green coffee that you need to use for a good co-ferment as well, right?
No, I think it's probably more the opposite. It's like you can actually use a lower quality coffee and co-ferment it and make it significantly better.
If you used a really good quality coffee to make a co-ferment, would that make any difference?
Oh yeah, it's better. It's of a higher quality. Well,
it's not so overpowering.
I buy my green from CoffeeNet for this, and they've got like geishas that they use for this. For me, it doesn't make sense to buy a geisha that's co-fermented because I'd rather have a real deal geisha. But like that is a varietal where you get more perceived flavor.
Right, that's interesting.
What I'll be interested to see is how successful he is doing it with Grata, because this is volume 1, and he's using a pulp natural Brazilian, which is very classic coffee flavor.
I can't wait to see it go kind of beyond that, because when we were on the channel the other day, we were working with the guys over at Measured Guide to make some cocktails, and we made some coffee liqueurs. We started using like some Kenyans, Ethiopians, like different stuff like that. And when we were like brewing it together, it was like so bright, refreshing. Like you wanted to just have it straight over the rocks. We infused it with a few different like aromats and like that kind of thing. And it was so good. And so I can't wait to see that kind of evolve, where it's like the challenge that he has is he has to do a lot of re-education, I think, with this brand, because like coffee liqueur, I feel like has a bad name. Like it's got its rap. It's your Kahlua, you're having your espresso martini. No one's going, can I get that coffee liqueur on the rocks or that coffee spirit on the rocks? Like this is going more to the worlds of an Amaro or something, where you would want to just have it as like a light aperitivo or something before a meal. And make it delicious. And I think even more so when you start getting into some more interesting coffees that have a little bit more character. But this is like a great stepping stone in classic chocolatey. There's a little bit of like brightness coming through there, a little bit of like...
But I think I am so fascinated by coffee and alcohol and when they're together, because he's kind of got this process which he didn't really elaborate on, but they brew the coffee separately and somehow mix it. But
and they brew hot, right?
Think so.
Yeah, they brew it hot compared to like a cold brew that a lot of other places
But if you were to get ground coffee and then pour, say for example, you had a bottle, you put 100 grams of ground coffee in there and then you filled the rest with vodka. The vodka's a solvent, so it'll actually help dissolve some of the coffee into the vodka. And then you could strain it and then you would have coffee vodka.
Right.
And same with like ingredients like wattle seed, and this is done pretty commonly in the wine world. Then he mentioned filtration, and like it's really hard to brew big batches of coffee, filter big batches of coffee. So I'd be interested to know how he did that. That's one of the things he didn't want to share. Fair enough.
And when you spend that much time working on something, you're like, well, I don't want to tell someone else how to do it now. I spent years of my life figuring it out.
But this is an interesting sort of thing to blend with a topic of, we were talking about burning coffee and how customers always say, oh, this coffee tastes burnt. So, and which to a barista, I can understand why the public says that, but to a barista, it's like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because the whole act of, or the process of making coffee is burning it, dissolving it into an espresso. Hot water is the solvent. Whereas in this case, like the alcohol is the solvent, because it's got a certain pH level and you actually infuse it. You could do it with water, but it wouldn't happen in such intensity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like you can extract it in a different way.
Yeah. And I think the brewing hot as well for them is going to extract more flavors that you're not going to get when you brew cold for doing that. I know our friend Jamie did a video on our channel talking about that, doing like a cold brew that started with hot water and then bringing it down to that temp and doing it just to extract more of those flavors that you're not going to get just from doing it cold.
Yeah, and this is my gripe with cold drip. Have you ever had a cold drip?
Yeah, like the Japanese style. Is it Japanese or that giant thing?
Well, they have the towers. They're pretty common in Melbourne, but like it's just...
Where are those towers from though? Am I just making that up? Is it Japanese?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
You can buy them in plenty of places, but it doesn't make coffee like, it tastes like coffee and people enjoy it, but you don't actually get the flavors from a good coffee. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't make an amazing coffee.
I remember the
Japanese origin. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Those two hand in hand.
Yep.
I remember working back at 3 Bags Full back in the day, and we, when we were young, we just wanted all the new tools, and we got like one of those drip coffee things with the slow drip. We're like timing out. We're like, it needs to be a drop of water every 3 seconds to have this. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to taste like crap anyway, probably. And we're like spending hours of our life trying to master this brewing method.
I remember going where was I working? I think it was a little cafe called Mountain of Bears and in Ormond. And I'd come from a cafe where we had this incredible, it looks like a sand hourglass kind of contraption. It looks mythical. And then I went to this place and they had made, because it was so popular in that area, they had made their own one, but it was made out of like these massive buckets, like coffee buckets. And like there's like just some, pipe that they've got from like from Bunnings. But they were, the batch quantity was like, 10 liters at a time. And it was insane. It was crazy, but disgusting still.
Yeah. It's still horrible. Yeah. Now, do I be controversial here, just following up on a previous conversation that we had on the pod a little while ago when we were talking about rural versus city coffee?
Yeah, go on.
I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus here. I went out to the Dandenong Ranges, out to Mount Dandenong over the weekend. Had maybe 4 different coffees from 4 different little coffee shops up there. Mate, where's this thing that coffee in these places is 70% better than the city?
Is that a parting shot at the Artisti boys?
Yeah, I'm just standing up there. They were going to tell us that it's way better than anything in the city. And I'm like, maybe where you guys are because you make amazing coffee. But I tell you what, these were all the best places you could go out there. And I loved it, to be honest. When I'm out there and you get like, just a long black that's filled up in a giant cup and, just really straightforward, just black coffee. I loved it. I enjoyed it, but I can't be claiming that that's better than what we're getting at here.
I once read an article about during COVID where a lot of city people were moving to regional areas in Australia and in America as well.
Yeah.
And they weren't gelling with the community there. Mm-hmm. They came in and kind of told people that they need to do things a certain way. And the biggest thing that they were mentioning is like, you need to make your coffee a certain way.
Yeah.
You need to, like, people coming from the city.
And I don't want to change it. I'm saying I love it. I'm saying like when I'm out and I go on like that trip, it's like for whatever reason, I want it to be like that. And that's probably what the locals are like. They want it bigger. They want it hotter. They want it, whatever.
Sometimes I have this saying, to appreciate the sun, you've got to know what rain is.
Yeah.
You don't know what good coffee is unless you know what bad coffee is.
Yeah.
And I have this thing as well. I was talking to Tim about it. I don't like having lots of brew gear at home. I have a saucepan and instant coffee at home.
There you go.
And that's how I do it at home.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked by this.
Do you WDT the instant coffee?
Oh, yeah, everything. Measure the TDS and everything.
Because don't get me wrong, like I also, like, I don't have like a cool espresso machine at home and, work with coffee for a long time. But I have a little V60, but it's got like the mesh inbuilt. Like I don't even have paper filters that I like recycle through it.
But when I go home, or when I've spent a few days away from home, away from work, having that set up and not having such great coffee at home makes me look forward to going to work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I like having the separation.
And just so I don't come off like the
boomer,
the boomer, yeah, the wanker of like doing it. Anyone out in the Mount Dandenong kind of area and that, let me know where I should go. I want to be, this isn't a jab at anyone. I loved my experiences out there. I had amazing scones with jam and cream, put on the extra 2 kilos,
Maybe you just didn't go far enough.
There's a South Park episode where all the city people move to South Park, and I think it's a reference to this COVID thing, and they get out of the car and they're like, Tesla, Wi-Fi, Cortado. Are you one of those people?
No, I just said I loved it. I just said I loved every second of the quaint,
Cortado,
beautiful little buildings up there. It was I wouldn't change a thing.
Wi-Fi, Tesla.
I did drive my Tesla up.
Have you got a Tesla? Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't.
No.
Okay. There you go.
That actually just made me, that reminded me, talking about the filter, Tim and his AeroPress kind of stuff. You like pressed him about what he makes at home, and he has like a book of like all of the world champions recipes, and just opens it on a random page and goes, I'm going to brew it like this.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's pretty niche.
I love that.
It's like a Russian roulette. Roll the dice. What's my coffee going to be like today?
Yeah,
that's so fun though. Like you've got like winning recipes. Like why not? Like let's check it out.
I do find the AeroPress one of the easiest just to like consistently get pretty good though. Like you just like whack the coffee in, fill it up.
I've got a hot
Wait 2
take that
minutes.
this is the one I was going to mention.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
I've never actually made an AeroPress. What? I've been in the industry for 10 years, and people have asked me how to do it, and I like coach them how. I've never actually made one myself.
How do you go this long without making an AeroPress?
It's just never happened.
Why? It's like quintessentially like one of the biggest brewing methods in the world.
I know.
You've never just been backstage at one of the brewers' cups about anything and just say,
Never had one.
I'm just gonna
Never
whack
used
them."
one.
Are you going to stand by that and make it something that's a mark of you that you've never made an AeroPress, or are we going to get you making an AeroPress live on the pod? You heard it here first.
Yeah, well, maybe we do it on the pod. You can show me how to make an AeroPress.
Yeah.
But truth, hand to God, I've not made an AeroPress ever in my life.
I got a question. Have you guys ever messed with a Delta press?
What's that?
It's essentially like a AeroPress, but instead like you pour, so just think of it like an AeroPress. You got a puck with the coffee down the bottom, and then you pour the coffee in, but the boiling water into the middle, but it acts like a syringe, like a backwards vacuum. So the water and the coffee is separate when you first pour it in. Then when you pull the plunger up instead of down, it siphons and pulls the coffee.
So it's like a percolation method.
Kind of, yeah. You like pull it up and it goes and
So
gets
it's
pulled
not
in.
immersion. The coffee is being pulled, the water is being pulled through the coffee.
Into the coffee thing, and then you re-push it through.
Oh, okay.
I actually saw
it's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
I actually saw a siphon back there under the bench.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were brewing. We were brewing the cocktails with.
You should make me a siphon one day on the pod.
Well, one thing, I mean, I don't have the proper heat element to it, but we were like measuring the temperature of the water in the top, and it wasn't getting above like 70 degrees or something. So I don't know. I could be doing that wrong. We were just brewing some cocktails, which is good that it was a lower temperature. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure how that worked. Now I'm going to throw, if you want to talk about it, the wanting the simple things, Molly, I'm going to throw you under the bus here.
Uh-oh.
So Molly works with us. We're a coffee company. We have full access to a full range of coffee up there. We've got not only us, but a lot of our friends who own coffee companies. We've got their coffees. We've got our signature. We've got a fruity Sundancer. We've got our Kenyan. We've got
no shortage of
filter
coffee.
Molly, what do you like to drink? He likes to whip out the instant coffee, bit of Macano, is it? What is it? Macona, sorry. I don't even know what it's called. Macona. Gets out the little whizzer, gets out the little frother, puts in her water and sugar, zhuzhes it up, and then do you add milk? Yeah, and then adds milk. And that's goes past the Lamazocco and goes straight to the Macona.
Well, it's pretty crafty.
Yeah. Yeah, the whipped coffees are delicious, is what she's saying. So, I mean, I'm all here for it. Actually, I appreciate it. Coming into a coffee company and be like, yeah, I'm just going to use this Macona.
It's a power play.
We
Really.
might have to get one made for us on one of the other pods we're doing today.
Oh.
So, I mean, I would love, just saying, would love one.
Molly's
love one too.
Pinterest coffee experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I mean, it's pretty much just like is it a Greek frappe? What is it called? Greek cappuccino or something? It's kind of in that world. Like the great coffees, right? Are instant coffee, sugar, water, and you like whiz it together until it's like a foamy consistency.
Sounds like one of those Emma Chamberlain things.
It is. It's like Dalgona coffee, but yeah.
Interessante.
Right? Kind of. Dalgona. Molly just yelled Dalgona.
Dalgona.
Dalgona. Well, on that note of Dalgona, do we have anything else to say, or we're up to 25 minutes now.
No, I think
that was a good chat. That flew by.
Yeah, it did. I think we'll wrap it up here. We've got some more pods to do today.
Yeah.
And I won't elaborate who, but we've got some absolute ripper guests booked for the next 2 weeks.
Rippers. Oh, yeah.
We treat you guys so good.
We treat you well. Well, if you want to reach out to us, send us into at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. Check out the Instas, check out the socials. And please, this podcast, it's growing. We are stoked. It is, the numbers are great. We're so happy that you're all tuning in, and help it keep growing, because we want this thing to be huge. Tell a friend if you're enjoying it.
Tell 2 friends.
Tell 2 friends. You know what? 3 friends.
All right. I'm going to leave it there.
5 hours later, we're just going back and forth. 4 friends. Well, maybe 5 friends. Maybe till 6 friends. But I've only got 2 friends max, so that's all I could do.
But sharing is caring. I think we're covering some topics that some people wouldn't really otherwise think of, discuss, or have a resource for. So
if you're concerned about me bullying Kirk, you can hear that I take this feedback seriously. I address it. I want to treat Kirk with the respect he has. If you have any more feedback, why am I inviting this? Do not send me feedback about being mean to Kirk. But yeah, send in a message to us. We'd love to hear from you, and I hope you enjoyed the coffee break.
Thanks, Fatty. All right, let's go.
Thanks, guys. Another coffee breakdown. See you next week.
I think that was a good exit.
Yeah, absolutely.